material in this session. Myself, Professor Rashmi Dhar, I'll take up your course MES 007 today. The course title is School Governance and Financial Management. This course consists of 3 blocks and each block has 4 units. In total, there are 12 units in this course. Block 1 consists of unit policies and practices of school governance. Unit 2 is concerning about rules and regulations. Unit 3 is about legal issues, and Unit 4 is about partners in school governance. Talking about Block 2, there are also 4 units, and these units are sources of school funds. Unit 2 is about mobilization of financial resources. Unit 3 is about financial rules, and Unit 4 is about principles and strategies for financial management. There is Block 3 also, and that block also has 4 units. Unit 1 is about school budgeting and administrating budget. Second unit of this block is about maintaining school accounts. Unit 3 is about auditing and reporting, and Unit 4 is about use of information and communication technology in financial management. These are the 12 units which will be taken up under this course. Today, I'll start and discuss the block 1, and especially 2 units of this block. Unit 1 is about policies and practices of school governance. Let us first start with this. Policies and practices of school governance. In this unit, we shall discuss 2 aspects: policies formulated in respect of schools and the practices of school governance. While policies are formulated mainly by the governing body, practices of governance emerge out of the outlook of the school management, the needs of the school, and also the prevailing policies. It could be said that if policies provide the norms, the practices adopted in the school for its governance are the reflection of the policies. Hence, the emerging trends in governance of schools originate from the policies regarding students, teachers, and education in general. So, in this unit, we'll, after discussing or going through this unit, we will be able to achieve these objectives. That means we will understand these things. That is, the objectives of this unit are to develop an understanding about the formulation of policies for the governance of the school. How the policies are formulated, you will study in this unit. Another objective of this unit is to internalize that policies provide the framework for governance of schools. Third objective is to interpret the emergence of practices of governance. And fourth objective of this unit is to appreciate some of the emerging practices of governance of schools. So, in a nutshell, after studying or reading or going through this study material, you will be able to understand how policies are formulated and what are the practices for school governance and what are the emerging trends of school governance. So, first of all, we'll take up formulation of policies. Policies implies principles or courses of actions adopted by individuals, groups, or government. Schools are formal organizations that are governed by certain bodies, which may be the government or its agency or a private body. The governing body is usually involved in the formulation of policies for the school. In case the private body formulates policies, they have to be within the legal framework of the state and cannot contest the government policies. Policies are, however, different from laws formulated by the legislature and other agencies of the government. In order to enforce the policies, especially those formulated by the government, they may be converted into laws, ordinances, directives, and other such instruments. The policies pertaining to education comprises the overall plan laid down by the government, general goals and procedures in the provision of education. They intend to guide and determine the present and the future decisions connected with schools, pupils, their parents, and the other stakeholders. Policies framed by the governing body provide direction for the governance of schools. The school head must be aware of the educational policies because in the context of these directives, he or she has to carry out the administration of schools. Any decision that the school head would take has also to be in accordance with the guidelines provided by the policies framed by the government body. Not only the government, but also religious bodies, trust, any other non-government organization running the school may also frame policies, but the policies framed by them are applicable only to the schools administered by them. For instance, there's an example. The school management may formulate a policy that the senior students and the teachers have to participate in the voluntary services provided by the trust running the school all over the country during the vacations. They have given this task. They have decided about doing this task during the vacations. However, such policies are applicable only to the schools run by the particular trust and not to other schools. It is also important that the policies framed by the management of such schools have to be necessarily within the legal framework of the country and in consonance with the educational provisions of the constitution of the country. So whatever a school management or school trust decides, that should be within the framework of government policies and constitution of that country. So when the government formulates these policies, there is policy formulation by the governing bodies. How these policies are and at which levels these policies are framed. In several countries, the government plays an active role in providing education and runs schools and other educational institutions. Formulation of policies of education in a country with a federal structure like India may be done at different levels. They are framed at the central level and at the state level of governance, since education is in the concurrent list and is hence the responsibility of both the central as well as state governments. So let us first take up policies formulated at central level. In some countries like India, I'll talk about my own country, the policies formulated at the central level are drawn mainly from the constitutional provisions. Recommendations of education commissions set up by the government from time to time, as well as the bodies set up by the government of a country to perform an advisory role and advise the government on matters related to education, are also helpful in the formulation of educational policies. The Constitution, as mentioned earlier, serve as the fountainhead of policies that serve as a framework for providing education, especially that imparted at school level. In order to foster equality in the society, there may be constitutional provisions that urge the government to take special measures for the upliftment of the educationally and economically backward sections of the country. In such cases, policies are formulated to help students from such sections in getting admission in educational institutions and in obtaining monetary and material help from the state for continuing their education. Also, owing to these provisions, there may be policies for the recruitment of certain portion of the teaching force or the teachers of the government schools from the weaker and backward sections of the society. Special provisions may also be there in the constitution of a country that seeks the upliftment of women. Policies, in such cases, policies are formulated to encourage the enrollment of girls and to provide economic help in the form of free education to them. So there are policies for the upliftment of weaker sections. In a country, the national policies on education may include policies that are to be considered as guidelines for several aspects of education. These several aspects are such as the curriculum, matters relating to the teachers, students, etc. Recommendations of the Education Commission set up by the government also play a role in policy formulation. For instance, the pattern of school education, the policy regarding the languages to be taught at schools, the inclusion of science and mathematics till the secondary level, etc., have resulted from the recommendations made by the Education Commission that had been set up in India. So these are the policy framework at central level. Now coming to policies formulated at state level. In countries with a federal structure, like India, with education being the joint responsibility of the center and the states too can formulate policies regarding education. These policies are to be framed in accordance with the constitutional framework and the national policies on education. State has to consider the constitutional framework as well as the national policies which are formed at the central level. So different bodies constituted by the government have an advisory role in policy formulation and also their implementation through activities. And these activities are such as upgradation and enrichment of the curriculum, designing textbooks, providing teacher education, carrying out reforms in evaluation system, etc. So policies regarding these are framed at state, maybe formed at state level. Most of the countries of the world today have policies requiring education to be holistic, besides being socially and economically productive. There are policies for socially and economically productive education, but the trend is towards the holistic education, and hence there may be policies that require the curriculum to include areas such as work experience and computer education and an integral part of the curriculum for providing need-based education. So these areas are also included in the curriculum, work experience and computer-based education. The components of the core curriculum via languages, social science, mathematics, and science are also according to the policies framed. Inclusion of activities as the National Cadet Corps, Scouts and Guides are uh, to develop future citizens who could work towards the welfare and the security of the country. In several welfare states for students from the weaker sections of the society, policies, their encouragement is provided in the form of policies that aim to provide free education, incentives, midday meals, and even free uniforms and books in certain countries. For teachers also, there may be policies regarding recruitment, postings, and transfers in case of government schools. Policies for capacity building of teachers lead to the provisions for in-service professional development programs. This type of exploitation may be forbidden by the policies framed by the government. Schools today are treated as planning units. They are getting empowered to perform need-based institutional planning and implementation. They are encouraged to form associations between parents and teachers and develop a mutually supportive school community relationship. Policies also dictate the beneficiaries of government grants, the type and the amount to be provided to them, and efficient management of resources by reducing wastage and stagnation in schools. Thus, it is seen that policies formulated by the government are generally aimed at providing welfare services to the community through education. The school head has to ensure that the governance of the schools is in accordance with these policies. Policies for schools run by private bodies. There are some certain policies which are framed for schools run by private bodies. So the policy of providing grants in aid to provide schools requires them to fulfill certain conditions so as to be eligible for grants from the government. Hence, in these schools, the school management, that may be a trust or a society, has to fulfill certain obligations for receiving grants in aid. Moreover, the policies formulated by the management of such schools are not applicable at a macro level and are specific for the schools under their management. The management of the private schools can recruit and administer their staff in accordance with the policies framed by them. They also have the freedom to charge fees from their students according to their own policies. This is one of the reasons why private schools, even those that may be receiving government aid, are found to be charging exorbitant fees in some countries. They can also formulate policies regarding the curricular and other issues of their schools to some extent. The management of the private schools cannot frame policies that violate the national policies and related guidelines. So whatever private schools decide about or make some policies, but they have to abide by the national policies and related guidelines. As a school head, one have to be aware of the policies that prevail because it is in the context of these policies regarding students, teachers, curriculum, and other aspects of the school that you have to carry on with the administration of the school. So there is, in your study material, one case study is given. I'm going to read it out. Case study about the policies for schools run by the private bodies. ABC institution is a private school that receives government grants in aid. For class 9th and 10th, parents of a majority of the students want the school to stop altogether periods for work experience and reduce by half the number of periods for games and sports. They feel that the time the saved should be utilized for taking extra classes in mathematics, science, and English, since the secondary examination to be conducted by the board is approaching. The policies of the state government, however, require the school to provide vocational training and physical education in the prescribed way. The school head does not want to offend the parents and also fears that the students may be withdrawn from the school and at the same time cannot ignore the policies of the state. The school head, therefore, with the help of the teachers, organizes a meeting with the parents and convinces them about the need for holistic education. Second, the psychological necessity for having breaks in continuous academic activities. The provision for extra classes on holidays are beyond working hours on working days. Thus, for the school head, it is necessary to be aware of the policies regarding school education while carrying out the governance of the school and implement them. So, this is about the framing of policies for for governing the school or school governance, and these policies are framed at central level, at state level, or if by any trust religious body, they have to abide by the policies of government uh, and the constitution of that country. I think it is this part of this unit is clear to you. Now coming to the second part of this unit, which talks about the practices emerging from policies. What are the practices for the governance of school? We have studied the policies formulated by the government and the management. These policies provide the norms or guidelines for carrying out the administration of the schools. Thus, it can be said that the policies provide the theoretical context, which is to be put into practice by the administrators of the school. For school governance, the administration of school is guided by the policies framed by the government or other agencies formulated by the government for education. Along with policies, the legalities in the form of laws, ordinances, directives, acts, etc. support the policies and require their strict implementation. They are also there to guide the administration of the schools. At the level of individual school, the school head frames certain rules and regulations for carrying out the administrative process. The constitution of a country may be one of the major sources of policies for education. There are policies for the teachers. Schools are today also becoming planning centers in their own right due to the policies related to decentralization. Hence, the school head has to understand the spirit of these policies and for governing the schools. Translate them into practices such as shared governance to empower the teacher, walking the talk, etc. The school head also to incorporate into the governance of the school the latest trends of the modern world, like application of ICT, Information and Communication Technology in governance. Use of ICT is therefore important in schools. Besides, ICT is being applied in every sphere all over the world, including e-governance. This makes the curriculum of the schools modern and governance of the educational institutions easier. Hence, the school head to has to adapt to the practice of e-governance. So far we have talked about how the policies and at which level these are framed, and what are the practices the school head is going to take to implement or to govern the school administration. So now we'll talk about the emerging practices of school governance. There are number of emerging practices. Here we'll discuss few. Uh, First is shared governance. Democracy is getting rooted even in the governance of schools. From the traditional form, where the school head was the sole decision maker and administrator, today governance is on a shared basis. Teachers also participate in the governance of school and actively aid the principal in implementing the policies and carrying out administration. The scope of self-actualization motivates people. Having a visible stake in the successful governance of the school would make the teachers empowered. This is required to attract bright and talented people to the teaching profession. Shared governance. What is shared governance? Shared governance implies that the people affected by educational policies, that is, teachers in the context of school, be involved in the decision-making process. On a day-to-day basis, teachers are the ones who are the most involved in providing instructions and ensuring student learning. Any policy decision in this regard will have great impact upon them. Thus, a professional community can be developed. It will lead to consensus over the decisions taken. Traditional hierarchical model of governance. In place of traditional hierarchical model, shared governance should be encouraged. Participation of the teachers in any practices which are going to take place or decided upon in the school they should have active involvement in them, because they are also concerned, and they are also affected by all the policies the head of the institution or administration takes. They all finally imply upon the teaching community and the other stakeholders of the school. Shared governance needs a non-hierarchical, open and trusting climate, which is both humane as well as innovative. Should be humane and also innovative, something new should be there. It is a form of democratic leadership with not one but many participating in the process of governance. So this is the one emerging practice, that is shared governance. Instead of taking decisions by only one person, it should be in the cooperative manner and in coordination, and in taking in consideration the teachers also. it's a good way of school governance. Then another emerging practice of school governance is empowerment of teachers. Empowerment of teachers is a direct fallout of shared governance, because when we are involving them in all activities, all decisions, in decision making of the school governance or school activities, we are empowering the teachers. The shared governance, implication of shared governance is empowerment of teachers. Involvement of teachers in the decision making process is required because they are aware of the ground realities, deal with them on a day-to-day basis, and also implement. Empowerment of teachers leads to their becoming professionals in true sense. Enhanced autonomy grants new respect and thus improves their working condition. Trust in teachers, encouraging their involvement, better process of communication, and not resorting to intimidation help in facilitating empowerment of teachers. So, with all these practices, teachers can be empowered. Shared governance leads to the empowerment of teachers. The policies of government acknowledging the fact that teaching is a noble profession and the teachers should shoulder the great responsibilities of nation building, and hence they should be accorded dignity and status, can be fulfilled by the practices adopted in governing the schools. So, empowerment of teachers is another emerging trend of school governance. Another emerging trend, which is very popular these days and everyone talks about it, that is walk the talk. This is one of the modern concepts of leadership. The leader is expected to practice what he or she preaches. There should not be the difference between what he does and what he preaches. Hence, governance of other individuals should be through the examples set by the leader or school head. This is the foundation of ethical and value-based governance. There is very importance of ethical and value-based governance, and for that, walk the talk is important, and this is the latest the new emerging trend in school governance. The actions of the leader should match his or her words. Instead of making rash promises and exhorting teachers to work in a particular way while he or she himself herself desists from practicing them, the leader should first set an example. She or he has to develop in his or her team members' commitment to achieve the goals of the school and help them in achieving their own goals. There is a case study mentioned here in your study material. I'll read it out here, and you will see if what is the impact of walk if walk the talk is not followed, how it is what is the impact and how it impact the activity or governance of a school. This is a case study about a private school. In a private school, the school head happens to one of the owners of the school. That means that school is founded by the head of person who himself is the head of that institution and is a part of the governing body also. That means all the decisions which he has to take for the school governance. He has the powers to do that. The fees charged are quite high, and student strength is a few thousand. Hence, the income from fees, along with donations, sale proceeds, money collected from various sources for various purposes, generates profits for the school. That means, due to fees and high financial resources, school has enough finances, money. However, a majority of the teachers are untrained and are paid a meager consolidated amount as salary. There is no dearth of money, finances are sufficient, but at the time of recruitment, untrained teachers are recruited so that they'll come at a lower salary scale, and the school the school head keeps on reminding the teachers that according to the educational policies, they are in a noble profession that requires skilled services, dedication, and that there should be accountability. The expectations are high from them, but salary is paid low to them. The teachers do not feel motivated since there is a gulf between the talk and its walk. The school head himself does not feel accountable for the malpractices resorted to. Had the school head followed the policies in letter and spirit, the teachers would have felt motivated. Thus, the school head has to walk what she or he talks, that is, minimize gap between promise and preachings. So, this is a case study about walk the talk. Whatever is preached should be practiced, and there should be minimum or very less gap between. If there is any gap, this should be very minimum. Next emerging trend and the school governance at present is application of ICT in governance, e-governance. One of the emerging practices of governance of schools is e-governance, that is, applying ICT tools for efficient governance. Many countries today have aspirations related to information technology in order to transform the IT dream. Computers in school education is becoming common. The benefits of applying ICT in governance are well known. With a reduced manpower, more work can be done. Economy is maintained in terms of money, time, and also space, since huge volume of data can be stored in a minimum area. Networking among computers help in easy connectivity and quick access to data. Human errors are reduced. Databases are developed and integrated into a data warehouse for analytical data mining to support decision making. Thus, we see that ICT generated databases help in decision making, which is vital for the governance of schools. Computerization of records pertaining to students, school personnel, stocks and equipments, library, laboratories, evaluation, matters related to curriculum like question banks, etc., can be done. An organization, according to UNESCO 1986, an organization's efficiency depends on its capacity to collect, summarize, transmit, and process information, and this is facilitated by the computerization. So it is believed, and it is that whether if an organization is considered to be an efficient one, it should have the all these capacity to and good computerization sections, so that they can collect, summarize, transmit, and process information, and all these things are facilitated by with the help of ICT. So this is all in this unit 1, which talks about the policy framework, practices for school governance, and emerging trends in school governance. So any queries from anyone, or whether you want to share anything in the continuation of this? Yes, James Adu, I think,
No,
has
there's no query
unmuted
for my
himself.
end. I don't have any query.
You don't have any queries. So today's whatever I as a resource person I say, because it is I had no query and I didn't counsel you. I gave you as the content of this unit, and I hope is this clear to you?
Yes, the content of the unit is very clear.
Okay, thank you. Nice. I'll continue with the next unit also, but before starting the next unit, I want to discuss few things for 5-10 minutes, and then I'll just sum up this unit. Others are also, I can see Kauki Peter and Moniba Sufyan and Ola Abdul. So please just unmute you, or just give me your response about today's content. Just the half of the content I have discussed so far. Next unit I'll take up within few minutes. Are you there? Please switch on your video. I just want to see who are my students.
Yes, please, we are there.
Yeah, nice. Okay. Good. James, okay. You are from which country?
Please,
James?
I'm from Ghana.
Okay, you are from Ghana, and others? Nice. You can...
Peter from Uganda.
Okay, fine. Peter from Uganda. Nice. And Moniba Sufyan, you are from which country? Nice to see you. Now, you are not audible. Unmute your mic.
Muniba Sufyan from Sokoto, Nigeria.
Okay, you are from Nigeria. Nice. And Ola Abdul?
Yes,
you are from
Kano, Nigeria.
You are also from Nigeria. Nice. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So today, so you don't have any queries. I think you 4 of you have joined. I just want to give an activity or share with you something. There is an activity. There are so many activities given in this unit. One is just give me your opinion. Should the schools be empowered to formulate policies instead of the government formulating them and leaving the school to implement them? What is your view regarding these issues? Think over it. Okay, yes.
I believe that for schools to improve very well, we have to do a deep dive in the school. And government policies are always done from up down. But if the deep dive happens in the school leaders, the headmasters, the teachers, the school board, the students themselves will be able to identify policies that can help improve the school. And when they are in charge, when they are responsible for it, I'm sure that they are able to, they will be able to meet their own target in terms of the policy that they create. Like for example, when schools are made produce SIPs, school improvement plan, it is done by the school, and they see to it that they improve. Okay, so if the school authorities are given opportunities to also make policies, and I'm showing that I know that they are going to make it improve, or the school improve, just as SIPs are used to improve the schools. Thank you.
Okay, very fine, nice. Because the school, all those who are involved in the school, they are better judge, and they can take decisions in a better sense to improve the school governance and school atmosphere and the education level, of course. And any other who wants to give his opinion about this?
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe there should be the government, that both the government and the schools should make the policies, but the government should make a general policies for the school. They should make a general policy for the school. Why the school should make policy based on their school and the environment, because the environment is also very important. The cultural background also is very important, and the school system, if it is a boarding school or a day school or maybe a private institution or a government institution or maybe an Islamic or a Christian only school, all the policies would differ based on what the religion or the cultural background. So I believe the school should make policy based on the culture, the environment, or the religion, why the government should make a general policy that will suit all the schools. Thank you.
Okay, good. The government should make at macro level, and at a micro level, schools should, you say, micro level, school should be given power to decide upon, keeping in view the cultural background and other facilities available in that area. That is also important. Very good. Now, Suleiman has joined, I just think just now. Okay, Suleiman, just unmute yourself. You are from which country? Because this is an interaction session, so let it be for 5 or 10 minutes at least. There should be some interaction. So I think he's not okay. So others, do you want to give any opinion about whatever the question already? Two students have given their responses. Any other who wants to share his opinion about that question, about that activity given in your study material only? So, okay. Now just I'll sum up this unit 1. Whatever we have, the content related with this unit was: policies provide the guidelines for school administration. They may be formulated at the following levels: the central level, with a macro base having wide nationwide implications; the state level, with implications for schools of that particular state; at the level of school management, with a micro base, these policies are framed within the framework of the national and state level policies and are specific for schools under the concerned management. So this is all in accordance with whatever you said that shared just now. Policies regarding students aim at securing equality and justice for the backward sections of the society by providing special educational facilities to the students from these sections. Another is enriched, updated, and need-based curriculum to fulfill the needs and aspirations of the society. Third is general welfare of the students and the community. Uh, Policies regarding teachers aim at securing merit-based objective selection of teachers, posting, transfer in a manner that ensures the welfare of the school, remuneration and welfare of the teachers for attracting talented individuals to teaching profession, professional development of teachers. From these policies seeking welfare of students, teachers, as well as the society, emerge practices of governance like shared governance, empowerment of teachers, e-governance, etc. These emerging trends of governance of schools seek the empowerment of the teachers by involving them in the decision-making process and thus ensure that the governance of the school is truly democratic. E-governance, that is use of information and communication technology for the administration of the schools, is becoming common all over the world due to its several benefits such as reduced manpower, economy of time, etc. So with this, the unit 1 is over. Now you people will go through it. You have the study material. You all go through it, and are certain activities given or certain questions given at the end of each part. So you try to answer these, write down these, and if there is any difficulty, we can discuss those in the next session, which will be, my session will be on according to the schedule 11th. So now this is for unit 1. Now I'll take up unit 2 of block 1. I think I should take just 2 minutes break, and after that I'll start the next unit, that is about the rules and regulations. So should I start next unit? Are you all ready?
Yes.
Okay, fine. So second unit 2 of block 1 is about the rules and regulations. In this unit, we shall discuss about the rules and regulations that are framed for the students, the staff, and also for other miscellaneous issues of the school, such as these miscellaneous issues are such as school transport, library, laboratory, and other such facilities. Rules have to be framed for the efficient administration of the schools. Rules in this context are not as broad-based as policies or legal issues, but are specific for a particular activity and are framed by the institutional authorities for the particular institution. They may vary from school to school because of their specific nature. There is often a separate set of rules for students and for the staff. Rules, if broken, call forth punitive actions from the school authorities, but are usually out of the purview of judicial proceedings unless there is a violation of fundamental rights. So objectives of this unit, after going through this unit, what will you understand? And these objectives are to understand the need for framing rules and regulations in a school. Why rules and regulations are framed? That what is the need for these? This will you study in this unit. Second is to develop the skills for framing the rules and regulations regarding students and the school personnel. And third is to appreciate the need for rules and regulations regarding miscellaneous issues of the school. So these are the three objectives. After going through this unit, you will be clear about these things. What are the needs? What are the skills to make the rules and regulations, and how miscellaneous issues are handled with the help of various rules and regulations framed by the school administration or management of the school, keeping in view the policies the government has made or the other stakeholders have made. So, first of all, in this unit, we'll study the need for framing rules and regulation. Why rules and regulations are framed? There are many reasons or many need. We can categorize these needs into various categories. Namely, in this study material are 5 or 6 needs are given. We'll take up those one by one. First of all, we'll understand what is a rule. The dictionary meaning of the word rule is that a rule is a principle to which an action conforms or is required to conform. Hence, the main criteria of framing a rule is to make those for whom it is made conform to it. The word regulation also is related to rule. It implies controlling or regulating behavior in accordance with the rules. So rules and regulations are made to regulate the behavior of the individuals involved, concerned with the school. So every organization has its own rules and regulations, and schools are no exception. A school is an educational institution where individuals who are yet to achieve adulthood, that is, children yet to attain maturity, had to be mainly dealt with. Therefore, rules that ensure their safety and welfare are required, because most of the population of school, the students coming to school are minor, not adults, and therefore their rules are formed to ensure their safety and welfare. As a school head, one should know the importance of framing rules for efficient administration of the school. The needs for framing rules and regulation for school. Now coming to the need. Why these rules and regulations are framed. Rules provide, number one, rules provide stable framework for the administration. So why to frame rules and regulation? The need is to get a stable framework for the administration. So rules provide that stable framework. Rules are more or less fixed in nature. They are not meant to be changed overnight, but only after due consideration. Hence, they are useful as stable reference points for administration. For good administration, there should be stability in the reference points, and rules provide that. For instance, the rule regarding the time of departure of students from the school during winter session, maybe 2 or 3 p.m., whatever, 2 p.m. in this case, the timing remains uniform through the winter session every year and is not prone to daily or weekly changes. Deviations made by students from this timing schedule can be controlled by reference to the rule, and hence rules are to be framed for the purpose. To meet out certain purpose, rules are framed and are taken care of those rules. Thus, rules provide stability and also help in determining the standard mode of behavior. The behavior expected of the students, parents, teaching, and non teaching staff is in accordance with the standards set through rules. So, all these have to follow the rules framed by the school administration. For instance, for students, the rule may be that those scoring below 40% marks in the aggregate will not be promoted to the next higher class. Thus, a standard for performance is set with the help of a rule, which applies equally to all concerned and is thus a stable point of reference. So, with such a rule, only those students will be given admission in next grade if they score 40% or whatever percentage that school administration has decided, or otherwise less than marks. Only those students who are getting less than that standard marks, they will not be allowed to get admission in the next standard. So this is the rules provide stable framework and stability in school governance with the help of rules is very important. The next need to frame rules is rules ensure safety. A school is supposed to provide an environment which is quite safe for the students. The safe environment is a primary requisite of a school, and due to the increasing number of students, safety is better ensured if rules are framed and followed. There is a case study about the rules ensuring safety. For example, in a school, the principal has framed the following rules. No student should go near the school pond, transmitter, or site where construction is going on unless accompanied by teachers. So, for the safety of students, if there is any situation which may be harmful to the student or is considered harmful to the students, they should not be allowed to go there. If it is very necessary to go there, then they should be accompanied by an elderly person, a teacher, or a non-teaching staff. Another is no student should leave the school campus during school hours without prior permission. And another is no student should drive an automobile within the school campus. So this is a case study where the school head has made these rules, and every student has to follow this. And if anyone doesn't follow these rules, some action is taken against him, and or his parents are told or contacted about this. Thus, we see that all these rules are aimed at safeguarding the students from accidents and other such things that could endanger their physical well-being. So their physical well-being should be taken care of, and such rules should be framed so that the students should have safe environment in the school. Another need for school for framing the rules are rules ensure welfare of the students. Rules ensure safety, rules for welfare of the students. Rules are framed so that the welfare of the students is ensured. Welfare is not only related to the academic activities performed by the students, but also relates to their physical, mental, and moral well being. For instance, in a school, the following rules may be strictly enforced for the welfare of the students. These are: students should not smoke, students should submit assignments on time, students should not resort to aggression and bullying. Thus, we see that the school head frames and enforces rules that would ensure the welfare of the students on all respects: academic, physical, social, and moral. So, at all these aspects of a person, there should be rules, and these rules should provide the welfare of the students and welfare of students' academic, physical, social, and moral aspects. Another need to frame rules is rules ensure discipline. To maintain discipline in the school, rules are to be framed. Rules are framed and enforced in every institution to maintain discipline in the schools. Even if rules fail to curb indiscipline, they still remain as one of the important tools and points of reference for controlling the behavior of the students as well as the employees of the school. Rules such as those related to arrival and departure time for students and staff, boarding and getting down from the school transport, eating or drinking in the classrooms, refraining from making noise, protecting property of the school, using the school facilities, etc., are framed for maintaining discipline on the school campus. Another need to frame rules are rules ensure justice and equality. Rules apply equally to all concerned. They ensure that all students and teachers are treated in the same way without anyone being shown favor or disfavor by the management. Existence of rules as points of stable reference ensure equality and justice for all concerned. So, rules ensure justice and equality to all students, irrespective of their caste, creed, socioeconomic status, or any other type of uh, difference, if there is any. Rules for day to day administration. So there is another need to frame rules, and that is for to take a day-to-day administration. Rules are required. The school needs certain rules for carrying out the day-to-day administrative activities. For example, the date from which fees collection from students would start to the date till which it would continue. Mode of payment. What will be the mode of payment of fees? It's through cash or check. Rules regarding late payment and non-payment of fees, etc. Or the rules governing the procedure of admission of students to school. Those relating to the canteen, library, laboratory, etc. of the school are necessary since they help the school head and her team in carrying out the day-to-day administration of the school. Thus, for carrying out the miscellaneous activities of the school related to school personnel, infrastructure, students, and other aspects in an efficient manner, there is the need to frame administrative rules. So these are we can categorize the needs uh, to form rules, and these needs are rules for day-to-day administration, rules ensure justice and equality, rules ensure discipline, rules ensure welfare of the students, rules ensure safety, and rules provide stable framework for the administration. So these are the needs to frame rules and regulations for the governance of a school. Now coming to the nature of the rules framed. These are the needs, and when the rules are formed and are expected to be followed by all the stakeholders and all the human beings, all personals involved in that school, what are the nature of the rules? The rules framed by the school are neither policies nor laws. Laws are enacted by the government and its agencies. They hold good for a wide area, and their violation can lead to judicial proceedings. Policies formulated by the government or even by the school management are broad in nature. But the rules framed by school authorities are specific and are applicable mainly to the school for which it has been framed. They may not hold good even for other schools. Therefore, rules framed by the school rules framed by the school head have a limited jurisdiction and originate from the unique circumstances and needs of a particular school. Moreover, for breaking a rule, there may be some penal action, but usually the person breaking the rule cannot be sued. That is, legal recourse is usually not there. For example, here you can, with this example, you will understand the difference and why a person cannot be sued if he doesn't follow the rule, or when a legal action can be taken. For example, if a teacher who is not qualified is recruited, or if safety norms or building norms are not compiled with, then the parents or any other party can lodge complaints against the school. But for a teacher who is not coming on time, or for a student not wearing uniform, legal remedy is not sought. Hence, rules enforced by school authorities are specific and have only a limited jurisdiction in comparison to the legal issues that are to be considered for the governance of schools. So if the policies at macro level decide that these are the minimum qualification to recruit a teacher, or this should be the minimum salary, or the infrastructure provided in the school should be like this. If a school is not following that, then anyone can complaint against them. But at micro level, the rules are formed to maintain the discipline of the school and other to fulfill other needs of the school. If the student or a teacher is not following that and is disobeying, in that case, the school administration will not take legal action, but can take action or penal action or some minor or can ask him or can give some type of punishment to improve his behavior, and if any or to remove such misbehavior from that person. So the rules framed should have clarity and be logical. So there should be some reasoning behind each and every rule and regulation, and there should be clarity. The concept about that rule should be clear-cut to the stakeholders. Ambiguity in rules can lead to problems in their interpretation and hence in their implementation. The rules framed by the school authorities aim at regulating behavior of students, teachers, sporting staff, and even parents, but they should not in any way violate the dignity or rights of these individuals. Rules should not be so harsh that school becomes unpleasant for children and the staff feels suffocated in their rigid grip. So there should be a humanitarian approach. Whenever rules are framed by the school administration, they should consider the dignity and rights of the individual, and also should be humane in nature. And there should be some reasoning, logic behind each rule and regulation. Rules framed should be rational and aimed at ensuring the welfare of all the stakeholders. The students and other individuals should not feel burdened by rules. While framing rules, the school head has to ensure that they cover all the areas of school administration and they are in keeping with the accepted social and moral norms and the legal framework. They should be rational and aimed at ensuring the welfare and growth of the stakeholders and the school. So, this is the nature of rules, that these rules should be clear. There should be a clear concept about those rules. They should be rational, they should be humane, and they should consider the dignity and rights of the individuals. Then there is so this was about needs, why rules are formed, rules and regulations are formed, and what is the nature of the rules. Now coming to the next part of this unit, which talks about the rules framed for students, because mostly the rules framed by the head of the institution or administration of the school for governance of schools, these rules are for students, for teachers, and for miscellaneous activities. So one by one, I'll take up these. So rules framed for students are in your study material are categorized in 8 categories. In this part of unit second of block 1, rules, we shall study the rules framed by the authorities for the students of the school. These rules, as mentioned in the, are framed to ensure the safety and well-being of the students and also for the efficient administration of the school. Okay, so rules are formed for safety and well-being of students and efficient administration. The main purpose of framing the rules is safety and well-being of students, and secondly, good administration of the school, efficient administration of the school. School head has to frame rules for carrying out the day-to-day administration. So, first of all, rules regarding admission of students. Every school has certain rules regarding admission of students. The rules, however, should not violate the legal framework that governs them. For instance, as per the rules of a school, admission to a grade is not a matter of right, but in accordance with the existing vacancies. Rules regarding minimum and maximum age for admission to a particular class are considered by schools. Rules may be there that admission would be possible only if the student passes the admission test and is in the merit list. Some schools may frame rules to ban mid-term admissions. Medical examination for assessing physical fitness of students may be required by some schools. So, related with admission of students, Certain rules are framed by the school administration, and according admissions are given according to those rules. Another area of rules for students is uniform. First is admission, another is uniform. Almost every school has certain rules regarding the uniform to be worn by the students, and in some cases even by the staff. Uniforms may be specific for particular days of week. There may be rules requiring a special uniform to be worn on days during which sports related activities are organized. Rules forbidding makeup, jewelry, and certain types of hairstyles may also be enforced. For students, rules are framed that they should look neat, clean, and sober. There is a case study mentioned here in your study material. This case study gives you about this is about the how the students come to the school, and what uniform or in which manner they should be look they should be come to the school. In a school, the case study talks about this. In a school, a group of boys came one day with their hair dyed pink. A few girls were spotted to be wearing the uniform that had been stitched as a dress that robbed the uniform of its serious and sober appearance. On being questioned, they said that there was no rule prohibiting hair coloring and the fittings of the uniform. The color and quality of the cloth had been conformed to. The school head and the senior teachers, in consultation with the parents, then modified the existing rule in a manner befitting the requirements of the school with regard to the uniform of the students. So, if there is any ambiguity or a loophole about a rule, there are chances that some certain conditions may arise which have to consider that rule, and modifications are required to be made to fulfill the need of the particular type of governance. Thus, we see that framing clear-cut rules regulating the dress and overall appearance of the students are very important. Another type of rules for students is on punctuality. Rules indicating the time of reporting and departure from the school are applied to ensure punctuality. At what time they should reach the school and at what time they are considered to be leaving the school. Late arrival without prior permission or except under exceptional cases is not permitted. Similarly, bunking classes and departure before the scheduled time are also barred by rule. Special permission is required for departure before the stipulated time. Coming back to the classroom as per schedule after the completion of various outdoor activities is also enforced through the rules framed in this regard. So, punctuality is an important factor of school atmosphere and school environment, and the for the personality development of the student, and the behavior and the discipline. So punctuality is very important factor, and there should be the rules to for the students as well as for the teachers to be punctual in their activities, coming, going, or any other for the class, everything that should be very important, and their rules should be there. Then another category of rule for students is attendance rules. Regularity in attending school and participation in various activities is ensured by faithfully following the rules. Absence for a certain number of days on a continuous basis without intimation to the school authorities may lead to dismissal. There is a case study because attendance is very important. If the student doesn't come to the class or attend the class, then he will miss uh, his lectures or the content the teacher delivers in the class, or and he might uh, this will affect his performance. This might affect his performance. So attendance rules are there, and there is a case study mentioned here. In a school, a student X was suffering from fever and was advised bed rest by the doctor. Her attendance fell to 40% of the total working days during that academic session. So she attended only, attendance fell to 40% of the. Okay, now she sent an application along with medical certificate to the teacher and sought special permission for studying from home. Another student Y did not intimate the school that he has attending coaching classes and preparing for the oncoming examination at home. His attendance was 65%. So there were two students. One was on a medical leave, but his attendance was, he was short of attendance, and another was without informing, not coming to the class, and his attendance was also short. Both X as well as Y were debarred from appearing at the term end examination. Why? Because the rule regarding attendance required 60% attendance in case of children who took leave on medical grounds. So there was rule, if a person is on medical leave, still he should be attending 60% of the classes. And there was another rule that those who were just not attending the classes and not coming to school without any medical reason or any genuine reason, and their attendance should be 70%. And if it is less than that, they should not be allowed to attend, to appear in the examination. So in these cases, whether on medical leave, whether without any reason, the student who fall short of attendance were debarred from giving examination because they have not studied, they have not attended the required, their attendance is less. So they have to re-study that course, and then they can appear in the examination. So thus we see that schools can frame and enforce rules to ensure that the students attend school regularly. Similarly, attendance in co-curricular activities is a must. Thus, rules are necessary to prevent truancy and develop in the students the habit of attending the various activities of a school. Procedures for taking leave and its extension are also governed by rules. Another category of rules regarding class work and home assignments. For students, there are rules regarding classwork and home assignments. Students failing to submit their assignments, projects, etc. on time may lose credits or grades as per the rules framed. Similarly, failure to bring books, notebooks, etc. to school may lead to loss of credits as per the rule. Failure to bring the school diary regularly may also lead to violation of rules if there are any such rules prevailing. So classwork and home assignments are also important, and there are rules framed by the school administration for these purposes. Rules regarding evaluation. Rules requiring students to appear at all the examination have to be adhered to. Scope of retest may, however, be there as per the rules. That result of a candidate would depend upon the aggregate scored during an academic year, and no student would be allowed to adopt unfair means during evaluation, because evaluation is an important aspect of education, and this should be taken care of all the right. And so criteria for promotion to the next higher class may be guided by the rules framed. These rules ensure that students are serious and sincere in preparing for evaluation and thus enforce study habits. Another rules related with students are possession of banned items. Rules may ban the possession of certain items like weapons, sharp objects that could cause physical injury, drugs, alcoholic drinks, tobacco, tobacco products, and other such things that cause addiction by students. Possession of cordless telephonic devices during examination and operating such gadgets in classrooms or possessing items such as cameras, radios, mini television sets, and even extra books, journals, etc., may be forbidden by the rules. Of if there are no rules forbidding such things, students will bring these things in the classroom and they might distract or create indiscipline in the class. So, some rules should be framed to ban certain items. Another rule for students is code of conduct of students. Every school has a code of conduct for students. It requires students to follow the rules and regulations of the school. The students have to desist from the habit of attending school irregularly, habitual idleness, neglect of classwork, disobedience, disregard towards school authorities, etc. Students are also supposed to desist from violence, aggression, bullying, use of foul language, possession of illegal substance as drugs, arms, etc., stealing, making school campus dirty, destroying school property, and so on. So these are the certain habits. These should not be developed in the students, and for there should be rules to uh, to not to control such habits of the students. So these are the rules related with students. The school administration for school governance, good governance, are framed by the school administration, and these rules framed for students are related with admission, their uniform, their punctuality, attendance, classwork and home assignment, evaluation, banned items, and their code of conduct. That means they should have good habits, and bad habits should be controlled by the school administration, and they can control these habits or change these habits or de-learn these habits if there are certain rules, because rules on basis of that rules the school administration can improve or improvise the behavior of the certain students if they don't follow the norms of the schools. So this was about the students. Then there are certain rules which are for school personnel, because school personals are also very important aspect of a school. Okay. Uh, James wants to ask, should we uh, take up the queries at the end of the picture, or okay? Let me finish, or you just want to share something?
Madam, please, when you finish, then I'll ask my question. So continue, please.
Okay, okay, fine. ठीक है. Now the rules framed for school personnel. In a school, rules are also framed for the teaching and non-teaching staff comprising the school personnel. These rules mainly are, you can categorize these in three categories. First is rules regarding attendance. The school personnel, whether teaching or non-teaching, are supposed to arrive on time, be present during the working hours in the school, and depart on or after the time stipulated. Rules may also be there to enforce attendance beyond working hours and even on holidays if the schools require it. At times, the school personnel may also be required to perform duties pertaining to the various activities of the school outside the school premises. Rules regarding leave, extension of leave, joining duty after leave, etc., are usually not framed by the school head in case of government schools, but are enforced as per the procedures laid down by the governing bodies. However, in case of private schools, the governing body or even the school head may have the uh, prerogative to frame rules regarding attendance of staff and enforce them accordingly. Another category for school personnel is rules regarding religious instruction. Government schools and several government-aided private schools in some countries are debarred from imparting religious instruction in schools. Use of religious symbols and signs, performance of rites and rituals related to a particular faith, religious preachings, etc., are forbidden by the rules framed. And another category of rules regarding related with personals are regarding distribution of workload. The teaching periods and other activities to be assigned to the staff of the school are rule bound. Apart from academic activities, the staff may also have to be responsible for co-curricular activities. Evaluation of the written work performed by the students, developing linkages with parents through students, diaries and other means, conducting parent-teacher meetings are ensured by rules. Attendance of teachers in in-service educational programs is also often enforced by rules. The teachers are made responsible for the safety of the students within the school campus. The rules may require that the students should not be left unattended inside or outside the classroom and even when they get down from or board the school transport. Duties may be assigned to the teachers in this regard because safety and welfare of the students is very important, is most in fact most important. So the teacher, they should chance should not be taken and the teacher should be given duties for certain such work. In the school, there is a code of conduct for the staff and especially for the teachers under whose direct care the students are placed. The teachers are supposed to conform to the dress code, maintain dignified relationship with students and their parents, use proper language, be punctual, and sincere in performing their duties. So these are the areas related with personals, teaching or non-teaching staff, and rules should be framed to control and to for certain for good governance of the school. Then lastly, there are rules regarding miscellaneous issues, because in school students are there, teachers are there, but there is uh, many other factors and many other aspects of the school which also need certain rules to be to get governed. Apart from these aspects, rules for students and rules for personals, uh, there are several aspects under school administration for which rules are framed. These are rules regarding curricular activities. A particular school may provide the students with the facilities of curricular activities like computer training, yoga, etc., and frame rules to make the students attend such activities compulsorily. Uh, I think rules regarding curricular as well as co-curricular activities. For developing dignity of labor, the students may be bound by rules to work, say, in the school garden, fields, farms, or undertake work for the community. Then another aspect of school administration is rules regarding library, laboratory, and sports. Facilities, monetary deposits for library, caring for books, retention period of books, etc., are usually governed by rules. Similarly, monetary deposits for laboratories, sports facilities, caring for equipments, and using these facilities are also usually governed by rules. Another area is rules regarding school transport, which is very important because how the students are reaching this school, that is also important. The transport availed by the students is the concern of both the parents as well as the school authorities. That means they should reach the school safely and go to the of their houses after the school safely, and for that transport is very important how they come. Rules are there regarding transport used by the students to ensure their safety. The need for notifying the school the details of the transport used, any change in the transport or its route is required by rule. So these were the certain aspects which are for school administration, and the rules are to be framed for these. There are certain rules for parents and guardians also, because they are also uh, uh, a part of school activities, because their children come to the school and they should be told about their progress, their behavior, and their performance, everything. So these and there should be some certain rules for parents or guardians. For parents of the students of a school, certain rules are required. In several schools, parents are not allowed to interfere in any way with their administrative processes. Parents are also not allowed to enter classrooms, labs, libraries, etc. Visiting hours are fixed and permission is needed to enter the school to meet the head or staff. Attending parents, teachers' meetings, signing the notes, curricular grade cards, etc. sent are also required. Getting the children immunized as per the schedule, not sending children suffering from infectious diseases to school, are governed by certain rules. Payment of fees and other dues within the time schedule, notifying change of address, telephone numbers, giving notice in advance to the school for withdrawing children from school are also governed by rules. Parents are required to label suitably the belongings of the children, like lunch boxes, hats, coats, etc. In some schools, rules are there that forbid giving any gift to the staff, and also regarding birthday celebration of children at school, distribution of edibles, etc. And the parents are supposed to abide by them. Parents and other visitors to the school are also required to abide by the rules regarding the parking of vehicles. That is also very important. So, the for parents and guardians, rules are to be framed by the school administration, head of the uh, school, and then he should see that whether these rules are followed or not, and he should be strict enough to control if the rules are not followed in thorough sense. Then lastly, there are rules restricting commercial transactions. In order to understand this, let us first discuss a case study. Commercial transactions should not take place in a school premises. So there is a case study mentioned here. In a school, the following activities were brought to the notice of the school head. That means some commercial transactions are being made there, and these are enlisted as number one. A lab assistant had taken an agency from a cosmetics company and was selling cosmetics to teachers during the school hours. Now, even some girls of the senior grade were purchasing cosmetics from him. The lab assistant in turn gave these girls old practical records maintained by former students so that the girls could copy down the content. So, this is not fair, and this practice was being conducted there, and it was informed to the head of the institution. Another thing which was going on, that is a teacher purchased dress material in bulk from the local weavers and at a profit sold them to other teachers who paid back the money on installment basis. Any other thing? A student good at mathematics did the homework of his classmates and got paid in turn in cash or in kind, lunch, fancy pencils, erasers, etc. Another complaint was a teacher prepared notes and sold them before the examination. So these were some practices which were going on in the school, and the school head was informed about these. The school head took action against these erring individuals on the ground that the activities performed by them were unethical. Because they were appointed there, or they are expected, the behavior expected from them in the school premises was totally different, and this should not be done by them during their working hours in the school. But in the absence of a rule to this effect, the case did not hold good. Hence, the school head then framed a rule to ban commercial transactions within school premises. Because if there is no rule to stop the commercial activities, transactions in the school, then it is difficult for the head to control such activities. So to control this type of behavior, there should be certain rules. Thus, we see that rules banning all sorts of commercial transactions are necessary to maintain the sanctity of the organization like a school. So, this was all about the Unit 2 of block 1, and that's this unit, second unit. Unit 2 is about the rules and regulations for school governance, framed by the school administration, head of the institution, with the help of teachers or advisory committee, or uh, uh, by himself or with the help of management. At school level, these rules help in governing the school administration. These rules should be are framed for students, for personals, and for various activities of the administration of the school, and as well as for parents, teachers, and to control the any commercial transaction in the school. So today, in this unit, we have discussed why rules are framed, what are the needs of the school, needs of the these rules, and what is the nature of rules and regulations, and these rules, what are various types of rules framed by the school administration for students, for personnel, teaching and non-teaching school, and various miscellaneous work that goes on in the school, and other stakeholders of the school. So these rules are very important for good governance of schools. With this second unit is also over. The content with reference to your learning study material, you also go through with this. I hope you all of you have the study material with you, and you go through it and do the activities given after each part uh, of this unit. So today we have covered 2 units. Unit 1, which was about the policies and practices of school governance, and second unit about the rules and regulations of school governance. Okay. Next time I'll take up the other 2 units of block 1. So there was some query in between. I think James had raised the hand. Do you want to? Yeah. You want to share something or ask something? Or what was your query?
So, regarding the rules and regulations, during that point, we also mentioned the code of conduct. The code of conduct under the rules and regulations, and as usual, the code of conduct always falls under the rules and regulations. But my confusion was that, is there any difference between the code of conduct and the rules and regulations? Because it looks like almost everything in the code of conduct are the rules and regulations. That's my question.
Pardon, just repeat your question. I just, because there is some disturbance. Just.
So I was saying that, is there any significant difference between rules and regulations and the code of conduct?
See, it depends, because code of conduct or rules and regulations that are framed by the school administration or head of the institution, he has to follow the constitutional things, and also the policies which are governed, which are given by the government or of that country. So the rules, regulations, and code of conduct will be in the context of the constitution and the government policies of that particular country, because this study material is from an Indian Open University, and this gives the instances and examples of of this India, and what our constitution or our policies, government policies are talking about. The schools have to abide by when they are making the rules and regulations for students or personals. They have to think about what are the government policies at central as well as the state level. In your country, whatever will be the policy or government policies, the schools will definitely make the rules and regulations accordingly, and they will abide by those. And the maybe code of conduct in India uh, considers something which is maybe allowed in other country, or in present time when we are maybe this material just mobiles are allowed, even it has become the necessity now for the students, or the ICT. So students come with certain gadgets in the classroom. Earlier it was banned, but now it is allowed because it is required. So it depends upon the government policies, cultural setup of that country, constitution, and need of the hour also. Is it okay?
Thank you very much. It's okay.
Okay. Any other question? There is all rules and regulations of government of the nation. Yes. Any other query? There was in chat box something. Will you unmute yourself and share? I think it was by Muniba Sufain. Will you unmute yourself and?
I said all those rules and regulations given to schools by the government of the nation for the smooth running of the schools, are they subject to modification with time, within some time frame?
Yeah, for good governance, if there is some requirement at minor level, at school level, so within the framework of government policies, because you can't know whether you are, if you are a government school or in a private school, you have to make the rules and regulations with reference to the government policies. If these are beyond that, that is will not be appreciated, and maybe cause some certain problems, legal or at the base of a community or a government. So now, whatever rules and regulations are framed to meet the need of the hour, that should also be in accordance with the country's constitution or policies. So that is very important.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Is it okay? Or is there any other query? Okay, I think. So today's session is over. For MES 007, we'll meet on 11th of this month. Okay.
Thank you very much for the lecture today. Thank you, madam.